Coco Gauff's win at the French Open wasn't just a display of athletic skill. It was a story about heart, hope, and the strength of the right words at the right moment. Hours before her match, a surprise video call from Steve Harvey sparked a fire in her. His encouraging message gave Coco the lift she didn't know she needed, setting the stage for one of the most inspiring victories in tennis. Her journey to the trophy was anything but easy, but that spark from Harvey's powerful pep talk made a difference. This story isn't just about winning. It is about how support and belief from someone you respect can push you across the finish line. Stay tuned to see how Coco and Steve Harvey's unlikely connection turned a high-pressure moment into a celebration of faith and courage. Coco Gauff's path to the French Open final. Coco Gauff didn't arrive at the French Open final by luck or chance. Her journey to this stage comes from years of training, moments of doubt, and a deep-rooted hunger to prove herself on tennis' biggest courts. Every stroke and every step she took in Paris was shaped by her background and a burning determination to break new ground, not only for herself, but for every young player who's ever watched her match. From rising star to contender, Gauff's rise started long before this tournament. Tennis fans may remember the first time she caught everyone's attention at just 15. Sending legends home at Wimbledon, she brought that same drive to clay courts, sharpening her game with each season. Family support. Raised in a close-knit family, Coco drew strength from her parents' athletic backgrounds. Their constant presence courtside fueled her focus and confidence. Work ethic. Coco's discipline became clear. She spent hours perfecting her serve, slicing through doubts with every practice session. Her growth, both as a player and person, made her a real threat. Each season, she closed gaps in her technique and mindset, climbing the rankings one match at a time. Braving the Parisian clay, performance at the tournament, at the French Open, pressure is a constant companion. This year, Coco faced tough draws and expectations from fans and critics alike, yet she showed up with a fearless spirit. Early rounds. Gauff opened with authority, using her quick movement and powerful ground strokes to control points. She handled early opponents without giving them a chance to catch their breath, staying composed. In tense moments, Coco relied on her training. When marches grew tight, she paused, reset, and let her instincts take over. Signature wins. She collected standout victories against seeded rivals, showing that her forehand and mental toughness was stronger than ever. Each win fueled her self-belief, pushing her closer to the final. Facing adversity head-on. Every great run includes moments where doubts can creep in. Gauff met those challenges head-on, especially as the stakes climbed in the later rounds. Physical toll. Long baseline rallies on red clay can test anyone's stamina. Gauff dug deep, maintaining energy through smart point construction and steady nerves. Emotional pressure. The spotlight grew intense. As she advanced, she tuned out the noise, focusing on each serve and return, learning from setbacks. In the past, losses taught her patience. At this tournament, she turned past heartbreak into motivation, using every tough point as a lesson. Growth and determination on display. With every passing round in Paris, Coco's growth as an athlete and leader stood out. She moved with new confidence, trusting her game plan and refusing to back down in tight moments. Maturity. Gauff's composure set her apart. She smiled in tense moments, spoke with poise off-court, and handled interviews like a seasoned champion. Drive. Every point she played showed her commitment. She chased every ball, fought for every rally, and never gave up on a single game. What reaching the final meant for Coco, making it to the French Open final, put a powerful stamp on Coco's young career. It showed the world she isn't just a hopeful prospect but a true contender. She inspired fans, sent a message to rivals, and prove to herself that she belongs at the top. For Gauff, reaching this stage was more than a personal win. It was a reward for sacrifice, proof that hard work pays off, and a signal to every young athlete that no dream is too big. The Steve Harvey video call, a moment of inspiration. In the busy hours before the French Open final, Coco Gauff found herself wrestling with nerves and the weight of the moment. The locker room buzzed with quiet focus and anticipation. Suddenly, her phone lit up with a call from Steve Harvey, the famous TV host and comedian whose words have inspired millions. It wasn't a planned media stunt or a scripted pep talk. Steve's outreach was personal and heartfelt, and it arrived when Coco most needed a message of conviction. The powerful message from Steve Harvey. What made this moment unique wasn't just Steve Harvey's celebrity. It was his ability to deliver a message straight from the heart. Steve spoke to Coco as someone who's faced his own uphill battles. Who knows what it means to bet on yourself when the world is watching? Encouragement rooted in belief. Steve told Coco, "You belong here. You worked for this. No one gave it to you. So walk out there like you own it." Focus and clarity. He reminded her, pressure is just an empty word. Fill it with your purpose. Don't play for people's expectations. Play for what you love. Play for you. Permission to succeed. Steve's final push was direct. Don't hold back, because young champions aren't made by age. They're made by desire. His words weren't about empty hype. They focused on self-worth, faith, and trusting years of preparation. Steve didn't just give Gauff advice. He handed her the mindset of a winner. Coco Gauff's reaction and mindset shift. Receiving that call minutes before walking onto one of tennis' biggest stages hit Coco in a way few could expect. She felt her pulse settle. The tension in her shoulders eased. The excitement and nerves swirling inside her were replaced by something calmer and more grounded. Gauff absorbed Steve's message like a sponge. Her eyes lit up with a mix of gratitude and resolve. Instead of pressure, she now felt power. She put on her headphones, replayed his message in her head, and let it drown out the noise. Emotionally grounded, Steve helped her feel seen. Not just as an athlete, but as a young woman navigating a huge spotlight. Self-belief. For Coco, those words became armor. Instead of questioning if she was ready, she accepted that she'd earned her place here. Laser focus. With every step to the court, she held tight to Steve's advice about playing for herself. Her face showed calm determination. In that brief, powerful exchange, the mood shifted. Gauff stepped onto the clay with a new sense of purpose, ready to write her own story. The video call flipped the script. She would play the match, not just for a title, but to prove to herself what she was truly made of. How words sparked a champion. The impact on Gauff's performance. When Coco Gauff walked out onto the French Open court, she carried more than just her tennis bag. She carried the weight of expectation, but also a renewed spirit, thanks to Steve Harvey's message. His words didn't just slip into the background, they echoed in her every move, guiding her through high-pressure points and fueling a level of resilience that was plain for anyone watching. Turning point. Pivotal moments in the match. You could see the effects of Steve Harvey's pep talk right from the start. The first set was tight, with both players trading powerful shots and neither giving an inch. Early nerves could have rattled Coco, but she steadied herself with a deep breath and clear focus, just as Steve urged her to do. At 4-4 in the opening set, Gauff faced multiple break points. Instead of panicking, she seemed to absorb the tension like a sponge, channeling it into sharp serves and bold returns. She played each point with confidence, as if Harvey's words about playing for herself, not pressure, ran on repeat in her mind. When her opponent began to push hard in the second set, Gauff made smart decisions under pressure. She stepped in on short balls, trusted her instincts, and fought for every rally. Even after losing a long grinding game that would have rattled some, she flashed a quick smile, then bounced back to hold serve. That unshakable attitude looked like a direct product of feeling seen and encouraged. Here's where Harvey's encouragement made all the difference. Decisive points. Gauff turned tight game points into statement winners by playing with conviction, not caution, composed body language. She never slumped her shoulders or lost focus, even after mistakes. Instead, she kept her head high and signaled belief with every gesture. Aggressive play. Instead of falling back, she pressed forward on crucial points, a sign of self-confidence, rooted in Harvey's reminder. She belonged on that stage. By the time the final set rolled around, Gauff's energy and poise were undeniable. She barked encouragement to herself, steadied her nerves, and played as though she had nothing to prove except to herself. Post-match reflections from Gauff and Harvey. When the last ball sailed out and Coco stood as the champion, she didn't hold back her gratitude. In her post-match interview, Gauff mentioned how Steve Harvey's call changed her mindset. She said the pep talk helped her stop doubting and start believing again. She described how Harvey reminded her of hard work and faith, qualities she drew on during hard moments. In the final, Gauff made it clear she didn't win the trophy alone. She thanked her team and family, but singled out Harvey's words as the push she needed to let go of fear and trust her training. Fans who watched saw raw emotion as she hugged her family, overcome with tears and laughter, and then referenced Steve's voice echoing in her mind at the biggest moments. Harvey didn't stay quiet either. He celebrated Coco's win on social media, posting a heartfelt message about her strength and courage. He called her a true champion, not just for winning but for facing the pressure head-on and shining in her moment. Harvey stressed that his call was meant to light a fire, and he expressed pride in how Gauff rose to the challenge. Together, their words painted a clear picture. Support can make the difference between holding back and breaking through. For Gauff, Harvey's call wasn't just a kind gesture. It felt like a vote of confidence that turned a nerve-wracking final into the greatest win of her young career. The ripple effect. Inspiration for young athletes. Coco Gauff's French Open triumph sent shockwaves beyond the court, lighting sparks in the hearts of young athletes everywhere. Moments like hers, propelled by support and belief, remind us that greatness doesn't happen in isolation. When someone stands behind you, whether it's a mentor or a role model, that faith can shift your entire path. The story of Gauff and Steve Harvey's connection is more than a single headline. It has a ripple effect that spreads far and wide. The power of mentorship in youth sports. Behind almost every young champion is a source of guidance that shaped their journey. Trusted voices can make dreams seem possible, especially in tough moments. Support networks give athletes a place to check their doubts and gain perspective. Words from believers sometimes land deeper than stats or drills. It's no secret that sports are full of hurdles, pressure, criticism, self-doubt. What turns adversity into progress is often the nudge of a mentor. When Gauff remembers Harvey's words, she isn't just recalling encouragement, she's reliving the feeling of someone outside her family and team saying, "You can do this." For many young athletes, mentorship is the difference between dropping out and pushing through. Gauff's story ignites hope in next-gen athletes. New stars are watching Coco's story with wide eyes. Her win after that heartfelt call shows that age and background do not matter as much as belief and grit. Many young players see themselves in Coco's shoes. Here's what they're taking away. Anyone can have doubts, but they can still show up and win. Success is about hard work and belief, not just talent or luck. Mentors matter. A brief message can stay in your mind on the hardest days. Take Sydney McLaughlin, Lavrone, an Olympic champion in track and field, who said, after watching Gauff lift the trophy, seeing Coco use support to fuel her race is a lesson for all of us. Sometimes you win with your legs, sometimes with your heart. Teen soccer phenom Olivia Moultrie shared on her social feed, "I watched Coco's final and realized the power of a good word. It's not just skills, it's the boost from people who know what you're capable of." Even young basketball star Mikey Williams commented, "Coco's win proves that what you hear before the game can matter more than anything you do in warm-ups." Her confidence was contagious. How support shifts the mindset. The right words, Dante, just push someone to victory. They change how an athlete defines success and handles setbacks. Kids see that asking for help isn't weakness, it's how you grow. Young players learn to accept encouragement without feeling pressure to be perfect. The message shifts. It's less about being flawless and more about being brave. Gauff's journey, fueled by a supportive phone call, models what healthy mentorship can be. The effect isn't limited to tennis athletes in every sport, are letting that story nudge them past fear. For kids who watch, it's a reminder they aren't alone, even when facing the biggest moments of their lives. Growing the cycle of inspiration. When Gauff speaks openly about her gratitude, it frees other young talents to celebrate the people behind their wins. This cycle of inspiration works in layers. Gauff receives support from Harvey. She uses that support to win and grows her own confidence. Her honesty about needing help inspires others to seek guidance. Young athletes celebrate not only hard work, but the voices that power it. This cycle isn't just a headline. It's how communities are built in sports. Sometimes, all it takes is one story, a call, a few words, a shared look of support, to set off a chain reaction. Gauff and Harvey remind us, when you lift one, you lift many. The ripple effect stretches far beyond the winner's podium. Coco Gauff's victory shows just how far encouragement and belief can take someone. Steve Harvey's words reached Coco at just the right time, turning pre-match nerves into powerful drive. His simple, heartfelt message fueled her confidence and reminded her why she loves the game. Moments like these prove that lifting up young talent matters, not just in sports, but everywhere. When athletes see that belief comes from within and from those who care, they unlock new levels of strength. Support inspires courage on the court and beyond. Share stories like Coco's, offer that extra push when you can, and watch how far one voice of support can travel. Thanks for following this journey. Keep cheering for the next generation and never underestimate the power of a kind word.